Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Before I begin today, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Kieran for the virtual gift voucher. Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. But on to today. You know, I enjoyed the look at Pedro Kantor and the Crimson Fist so much in the last upload that I just thought we have to discuss their journey a little more. Spoiler warning to begin, the events we are discussing today are from the Warhammer 40,000 novel Rynn's World by Steve Parker. And as I always say, I really recommend you read the novel for yourself first, because that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. Not only that, but we help to support the Great Black Library and Games Workshop, because without them, we wouldn't have this amazing lore to talk about. And I have to say, this novel, while old now, is an absolute classic. It really is. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Now, in the previous upload, we discussed what makes Pedro Kantor such a legend, as we saw him become a true chapter master of legend. And I've got to say, that was probably one of my favourite uploads to date. Just talking about it with you guys gave me chills. Absolutely one of my favourite non-Primarch Emperor moments in all of the lore. But of course, their journey did not end there. The Crimson Fists still had to make it to New Rynn City, now with the woman and her children in tow. It's a pretty epic journey with the Space Marines pressing on through the forest. And as you might expect, they end up taking on more human survivors. With each extra refugee they find, the pressure to keep them all alive gets harder and harder. Each engagement with the Orcs results in them having more lives to worry about, to push themselves as hard as they can to protect them. Even the leader of the ragtag human survivors, Desat, breaks down into tears at the sight of the Fists, putting it all on the line for them. Tears began to course down the old man's cheeks. You and your warriors continually risk your lives for ours. I can hardly tell you the shame I feel. I've never seen such selfless bravery, Lord. Our worthless lives are not worth the burden we place on you. You have so much else to cope with. Sobs of sorrow and guilt shook the man's bony shoulders. Kantor reached out a massive hand and steadied him. Enough, Desat, he rumbled quietly. No life lived in dedication to the Emperor should be cut short by filthy, mindless Xenos. Besides, we are almost at the capital. Another day will see us there. The bank of the river will take us to Jadeberry Hill. Be strong a while longer. My brothers will try their best to protect you, but you will need your strength. Drink from the river. Find food. Sleep till we wake you. It is your last chance to do so. By the Emperor's grace, this journey ends soon. Desat nodded. I'll pray it ends well, Lord. For all of us. You know, the more I read of Pedro Kantor, the more and more I feel my respect for this guy just growing in my chest. Obviously, this doesn't have the sheer emotional impact of the moment with Jeline, but just the way Kantor speaks with the people, how he makes the effort that many Marines would not, to humble himself. He deserves his moment in the spotlight. We need to see more of him going forward. Their journey continues with them ultimately emerging from the forest. And it's a war zone. The city is aflame, the outer walls crumpled in places, with wreckages of Orc ships strewn across the ruins, the Orcs having kamikazed into the walls to breach them. And there, behind hastily made barricades, the Crimson Fists still stand, defending the city against the onrushing horde. Kantor and his men immediately spring into action, rushing to help their embattled brothers. And there's a real key point here that marks out why Pedro Kantor was made to be a chapter master. As the 16 Crimson Fists who have made the long journey immediately plunge into action, a Sergeant voxes asking what to do with their charges. The civilians who have made the journey safely. Captain Cortez's response is to damn them. All he cares about is getting to his brothers. But Kantor, mere seconds from plunging into the rear of the Orcs, has the presence of mind to mark out a safe place for the refugees to be, all without losing stride, mere meters away from thrusting into the orcs from the rear in the heat of battle. And it's a pretty epic fight, with Kantor leading his men, charging through the orcs, just ripping orcs to pieces as they go. They just batter their way through the middle before emerging on the front lines to greet their brothers. But for all they've been through, after everything, they don't all make it. Some falling on the very slopes of the city, within touching distance of their goal, beheaded in front of their comrades by a humongous war boss. And Captain Cortez fills with a fury, racing back out into the carnage to take on the orc. And it's an absolutely awesome duel, with Cortez ultimately using his power fist to rip out the greenskin's spine, a small taste of vengeance for his fallen comrades. But it's not to last. While they may have been reunited with more of their men, the situation in the city is bleak. They've held on so far, yes, but the orcs haven't just been mindlessly attacking. They've been planning. They've been building. Far behind the front lines, the forms of gargants have been rising, and their time is almost up. Now Cortez, ever the warrior, wants a final heroic stand, to go out like warriors, in the name of honour. But Kantor, he doesn't plan on going out at all. He has a duty to fulfill, to the people. I have considered your proposal, Alessio, but I'll not send the last of my Crimson Fists out to die. As I grow weary of telling you, the chapter must endure, no matter what. I will not be remembered as the last master of the Crimson Fists. Our order must survive this. Cortez snorted. Nothing will survive the Gargants, and we both know it. They'll march soon. Once the last districts fall, they'll turn their guns on the Silver Citadel. And, when the Void Shields finally fail, we will be cornered and killed. He raised a hand. Please, Pedro. I know you think aid is coming. But how long are we to sit and wait? Grant me the fight I want, for the sake of all we've been through together. Kantor looked away to the east, but the haze was thick today. He could see the river where it flowed towards the waters of the Median, but he could not see the ocean itself. You ask to overrun the Ceres protocol, so you can lead a suicidal charge, his voice low and angry. You ask me to throw away my best fighters for the sake of a moment's glory. Did you hit your head, Alessio? Cortez scowled and stepped forward, gripping the stonework lip of the balcony wall. Do you know how many of our brothers have expressed to me their support for a last, glorious charge, he asked. Kantor nodded. Almost half, he said. And they are wrong, all of them. There is more to consider here than an honourable death. Cortez spun, his eyes blazing. We are Crimson Fists. Honour is everything. Kantor met his friend's harsh stare with his own. I tell you our honour is served best in protecting the people. Would you have history remember us as the chapter that left them to die? They will die anyway, hissed Cortez. Kantor flashed forward. As fast as Cortez was, the speed of the chapter master surprised him, and he found himself gripped tight by the upper arms. For a moment they stood that way, frozen, the tension crackling like static electricity. Kantor's eyes held the fury of a winter blizzard, but no words came from his lips. He could not deny that hope was fading fast. He knew only too well what the first steps of the Gargants would mean, and he knew it would start the moment the metal leviathans were complete. Snagrod would not wait. At last, Kantor released his grip. Sorrow stole over his face. Such a wedge between us, Alessio. In all our centuries, we never fought quite like this. What happened, I wonder? Hearing those words, Cortez's fury cooled fast. You are the chapter master, he replied. Before the coming of the Orcs, we had not served together on the field of battle since I took command. You gave me that honour, Pedro, and the latitude I needed to execute your will. The battles I won for you were fought my way, and I never lost. Now, I want Snagrod's head. My way. I want vengeance for all of the fists he has killed. If it costs me my own life, it is a small price to pay for the honour of our dead. Every brother who wishes to go with me has asked the same question, and has found the same answer in his heart. His life for vengeance. We await only your blessing. Let us all go out as warriors should. Lead us out yourself. The future be damned. Kantor's features darkened again. He turned to go from the balcony. Cortez gripped him by the right vambrace, stopping him momentarily. Kantor looked down at his old friend's hand, then slowly turned his eyes upwards with a warning glare. Cortez released his grip. "I am the chapter," said Kantor coldly. He turned away again. "The honour of the Crimson Fists is served only by serving me." Oh man, what a boss. You don't mess with Pedro Kantor. Ah man, like I've already said, reading Rynn's World has really made me a fan of Pedro Kantor. I can't recommend it enough. You even get Kantor going up against a gunship later in the novel, before taking on Snagrod himself. I think the author must have been a fan of Metal Gear Solid, because I got some serious boss fight vibes reading it. But it works. It really does. Do yourself a favour and check it out. I mean, I got my copy secondhand from eBay. A good read's a good read. It doesn't matter the condition of the book. But like I said, they're still available on the Black Library website, and the link is in the description as always. But what did you guys think? Was Kantor right? Or was Cortez? What comes first, honour or duty? And have you read Rynn's World? Did it make you as much of a fan of Kantor as me? As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love to read them. A huge thank you to all my subscribers. Your support really means a lot to me. It truly does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. If you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.